Hello everyone, welcome again to another session of Minds Group Tech. Today we are here to see how we are going to create a basic jQuery plugin. In this particular tutorial, I will be creating one plugin which will be helping you understand the basics of a plugin development. Along with that, you will be able to create a plugin which is capable of showing a modal dialog. So let's start. I will be using Visual Studio for this particular development. Let's create a new project, and in that I will create a solution that is a blank solution from Visual Studio. I'm going to create a blank solution with name jQuery plugin. Create it, and we have a blank solution. On the other side, once we have this blank solution, we have a folder for our solution. Here I am going to create a new empty folder which will be containing our plugin code. I'm going to give this particular plugin a name as Modal Dialogue. So once we have this particular folder, I have to add this particular folder over here. Open. So very first thing what we need is a jQuery file which I have already downloaded, and I have it here and add it to the folder. The next thing which we need a page which is going to host our code for the demo and testing. I'll name it as index file. Index.html. It's a HTML5 code. Let me include the jQuery in it. Once we have jQuery file included, let's create some contents. And one button. Show message. Let's ID it as button show message. So what is happening over here, I have created a one page and I have included jQuery in it. Let's execute this particular project and see what is happening. Nothing. A page which contains a text and a button. So what we have to do now is to show a message on click of this button. So let's bind an event, on click event for this particular button. Copy the ID, bind the on click event function, and show an alert which says okay. You clicked me. After refreshing this page, Okay, sorry. Sorry, I have to enclose this thing into um, document ready shorthand function. Now it should work. Okay, you click me. So this is a general scenario where whenever we have to show a message, we show the message using the JavaScript alert method. But there are situations when we need something more, you can say, dynamic and more fancy, where we need to show more contents, bigger contents, and rich contents from a different page, or you can say dynamically generated contents from a different page on this particular page. So let's say, for example, we have a page dialog.html, and we have the dialog content. Okay, so now if I want to show this particular content as a dialog within this particular page, I have to show it in a iframe or some sort of container. So for this particular activity, we have to write code, and there are chances we have to write it repeatedly. So we are going to create over here a plugin for jQuery, which will actually load the contents of that particular page, show it in a pop-up on this page. So for that, what we need another JavaScript file, which will be containing the code for our jQuery plugin. Let's name as dialog. So here is the file which will be containing the code for our plugin. Let's tell Visual Studio that show the IntelliSense for the jQuery from this reference file. And give the path to jQuery.js. So as soon as we do this activity and we type $, we can see that the IntelliSense from the jQuery object is available to us. And let's create function enclosure. Function enclosure, and at the same time call this function with jQuery and accept $, over here. This is the standard we follow to write a jQuery plugin. All the code which is required for this plugin we will be writing within this enclosure. So as we have already discussed, that what is the functionality of this particular plugin is to show up some message. So let's create our plugin first. The plugin is nothing but a function which is added to the jQuery object. So we have jQuery object, and let's create the plugin function mgt modal dialog. as a function over here. So MGT dialog is a function. As soon as I call this function will be performing the activities of creating the dialog and showing the contents in that dialog from the dialog.html. So let's try this function, how this function is getting called. Our plugin is ready to be created or not. So let's show the alert again. Alert which says, okay, you clicked me again. So as soon as we go back to our index page and include our plugin JavaScript, I can replace this particular method with my plugin method, which will be eventually right now doing the same activity as earlier alert was doing. But now this is a jQuery extension, a kind of a method which is added to jQuery object, making it a jQuery plugin. So let's go back. This particular activity is not actually solving our purpose. We need to show modal dialog, which is an overlay on top of the current contents of the page. So what we need to do in this is to create firstly a translucent overlay, then one dialog, which is again a div which is central aligned to the page, containing one title, one content area where we will be showing the contents from the dialog.html. So step by step, let's start. First of all, one overlay, a translucent overlay. So let's create an object, name it as div overlay, and get it from a div, add it to body. So what is happening right now, as soon as I did this particular thing and I have the same function call on the page, let's see what is the source. We have a button, we have a text, hello world, and I refresh it, and as soon as I clicked on it, it has added a div. Let's create another div, another div. So this particular activity is creating a div on the fly. What we need now is to ID this particular div so that we can distinguish this div on the page. ID as again, let's give it as modal dialog dot overlay. So let's see what is there. Refresh the page, click on the button, and we have a div with an ID. Now this div, the purpose of this particular div is to cover the whole screen over the current contents of this particular page and make it blur. So let's create a style sheet for that. I'll add a style sheet, name it as Modal Dialogue CSS, and define the style for this particular ID. So to make it make it cover the complete page, complete document area, what we have to do is make it position absolute, then set. I assume that you are aware of these kind of things. Bottom 0, left 0, background color, set it as RGBA, and set it as 128,128,128, and set a transparency to it. So I'll make it 50% transparent. So what's gonna happen now, it's like when I click on that button, it is going to append a div, and sorry, it has not implemented the style on this particular overlay. Display block. Okay, why it is not? Because I have not included this style sheet on the page. So link type style sheet and href as mgt modal dialog dot css. Now this particular page should create an overlay. Here you can see when overlay is there, I cannot click on any of the things. I close this and I'm still not able to. So as soon as I resize the window, the overlay is also resized for the size of the page. Let's go back. So we have our overlay ready. The next thing is we have to show one div which will be serving as the container for our modal dialog. So let's go and create div dialog container as again and modal dialog container. Okay, so we have another DOM element available. So let's create a style sheet for it. We almost require the same set of properties. As of now, I will set its width as 500 pixel and height. In my subsequent video, the next part of this particular video, I will show you how to make these properties configurable so that you can decide on the size of the dialog while running rather than changing the style sheet. And the background color, most probably I need white color only. Let's refresh the page. And okay, I forgot to rename the container. Here we go. So we have dialog container, which is right now top left aligned. The next step is we need some sort of title for it. So again, I will use the same code, rename the object to title, and dialog title, and create a style for it. But this time this title, we need to add it to the container rather than to the body. So here we did, and properties of the title, again it will be very much similar. I will make it absolute. From top I leave some 5 pixel, from left I leave 5 pixel, from right I need 5 pixel, and height make it 30 pixel. Background color, let's give it some bluish color, 036, and the text within that, let's make it white. So one thing I will add over here is body level font. So font Verdana, 12 pixel, sufficient for me. Let's render it. Okay, so we have a title which is empty right now because I have not added any code for adding the title. Let's hard code as of now. The HTML contents dialog title. So if I refresh this page and open this dialog title, I have to reposition the title text. That means I need line height and padding from top 0 and from left and right 10 pixel, or let's make it 5 pixel. Open the poll. Okay, font size 12 pixel. Refresh. Yeah, font is implemented, and you can say, yeah, I have a dialog box. Let's add border to the dialog box container itself. Border 1 pixel solid, and make it same color as the title background, 136, and refresh it, and I have a border around it. The next thing is we need to put a container over here in this area where our contents from the dialog.html will be loaded. So let's create another object, contents, and we need to change it here. So we have a new DOM element available, and let's style it. Again, similar to the title. Position is absolute. From top we need 5 for border, 30 for height of the title, and 5 for again the spacing, so it will become 40 pixel. Left is 5, right is 5, and bottom is 5 pixel. Line height I don't need it. Background color as white, and color I don't need it. Padding I don't need it, and let's add a border to it. Okay, so I have a container which is going to show our contents, but a div I am not going to show directly the contents. What I will be doing, I will be creating an iframe. So let's create iframe object and assign iframe C, Control V, and make it iframe, append it to, this time I will append it to contents area, and let's assign dot attribute as source, comma, dialog.html. Okay, so if I refresh this page, reload, and you can see the contents are there and the iframe contained within the dialog box. Okay, so let's set properties for this iframe. Iframe, and make its border none. Other thing is height 100%. Let's refresh it, and you can see that we have removed the border. Div, and it contains the iframe with height as 100% and width as 100%. And we have here our dialog container iframe showing us the dialog.html, which is what we wanted to show. So the contents are available. Let's see if we change the contents of dialog.html as growing, which is going to contain long text. So we will have a scroll bar over here if the contents are increasing from the boundaries in vertical direction. Let's make this content bigger per line. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so we have a vertical scroll bar. Just for the sake of the beauty. Okay, so here is a dialog box which is showing us the contents from dialog.html, but right now it is not center aligned. So let's make it center aligned in our next tutorial.